Hi, by the way. I am just setting up my drawing here. I noticed some issues with it when I loaded it with the perspective. And so I'm just kind of wiggling with the features here, trying to skew them and switch them around and see what comes of it. See if I can get a more accurate representation of the face. I suppose at this point I could import the source image and try to line things up that way. But I kind of trust my measurements. I just don't trust my angles. Is that too much? It seems like too much. I think the problem is the eyes and the nose and the mouth are not in the right alignment with each other. And I think the culprit is this eye. So let's actually isolate that. Ignore those changes. Go back a bit. So this is where I was originally. And part of the problem is this jaunty crown. I think I mentioned that. It is not exactly in line with the rest of the head. So it confuses my perception of the center line. Let's get it out of the way. So the center of the hair, I'm kind of working back from a really blown up copy of this image, unfortunately, because I somewhere along the way changed versions of Clip Studio, and I can't seem to open up some of the files that I've worked recently, and that has caused me all kinds of technical problems and interfered with my work greatly. What am I doing here? Go back. But in this case, I'm just inking today, so I don't need a super faithful. No. Rendering of my old drawing, although I do lose some of the undersketching and stuff like that, which means now when I'm correcting things, I don't have the advantage of my earlier drawings. So always iterate your saves. That's the lesson. Now don't apply transform. Let's just move this eye. Also take advantage of this moment to compare the size of the eyes, make sure they're similar enough. I suppose I should have done that a while ago. Oh, no transparent pixels here. Shit, never mind. I have to be. That's so annoying. Hmm. Does kind of look better, I think. Then we have to change everything else just a little bit. So let's grab. So the eyes are in agreement, I think, at this point. And that's an important basis. So then. Let's grab the nose and eyes as a unit. This is, let's actually deselect that. Cancel. Ooh, everything's a little bit slower when you're streaming. Let's ignore the face for a little bit. Beard off too? Or is my center line not agreeing with itself? Let's try this. Yeah, that actually works. That means my font. It's a huge forehead. That means here is where the eyes belong. Okay. It's kind of a pain in the ass to do all this, but this is one of my favorite things about working digitally is being able to go in there and fine tune what I've got before moving on to the next step. Alright, so that looks a little choppy, but that gives me enough of an idea. I think that looks a lot better than the original. Maybe. Yeah, definitely. So there we go. Let's start inking. Oh yeah, let's put that crown back in. Does the crown need to go somewhere else? How you feeling, crown? There is so an object to transform. Here we go. So if it was sitting right on his head, it'd be something like here. A little rotated. Oh, see, so he's got a little rotated off to the side too. That's actually kind of funny. A little offset over the right eye. So let's do just a slight cock rather than that full on parallel to the ground while his head is off to the side thing. I still worry that that fudges up the perception of where the center of his face is, but maybe people will notice, oh, he's got his crown on crooked. That's clever. I guess we'll find out. Focus group says... Alright, well, get back to me when you think of it. Okay, so I'm more satisfied with that. As a whole. Even though that also makes his forehead look really huge. Got that bombastic forehead. This eye is still way too low, though. Never satisfied. Oops. Alright. Enough fiddling. Let's ink that. Let's ink that on an ink layer. So I have to kind of do some fiddling with this area because the ridge of the brow changed when I was skewing the face, and so then does the cheek. And I left myself a little white space there, but I think I might want to follow through with these lines that I'm inking. And then I can go back with the eraser and take out that central shiny part. Hair is darkest at the tips, darkest and densest. And then in the middle, it kind of lightens and catches the shine before disappearing as it curves back away from the viewer. So I want to get that aspect of hair. I actually really like doing hair. A lot of artists complain about it, and it is difficult and annoying. And there are a lot of approaches, and this is not the only way to do it. A lot of people will tell you to draw a mass of hair and then work on defining the space within it. I don't like doing that in all cases, and this will be one of them, I guess. For these family portraits, I've decided to go ahead and go through the effort of just laying in there with the pen and building up masses of hair as individual strokes. It's still symbolic hair. It's obviously, I'm not rendering every single strand, but it reads more as a mass of hair. And if I can get the stroke in my hand to conform to the same general shape, then I don't have to go in there and draw the outer border of the hair, as some artists might suggest or do, because it's kind of now built up over the course of the lines that I've drawn. Just want to dense up the ends here. The nice thing about digital is I can always erase cleanly, so I can go in later and say, okay, well, I don't like how jaggy the ending are here. I want them all to kind of frame the face in the same way. See, I recentered things a little bit earlier. I neglected to do so with all the details, so I'm going to have to go off script a little bit. Okay. What? There we go. Oh man. That's what working at a wide zoom does. So these lines are sloppy. Of course, I often overdraw my lines in order to later go back and carve the exact shape I'm looking for with the eraser or with the clear paint. Just shape some of this stuff up while we're here. You want to have a clean mustache. No stray edges. that's a reminder I should probably pay attention to. Snooze for... Oh, that's too much. Oops. Jeez, for the life of me. My warm-up sketching was all freehand circles, and here I can't even draw a hemisphere. Is that eyebrow starting in the right place? I don't think it is. What's wrong with you, eyebrow? Yeah, that's better. Also important to get rid of the sketch every once in a while. See what you have. And zoom out. See, now what I should be doing is overstepping my lines to make sure that these complete. Or create a selection. That's probably even a better idea. Let's do that. No. Damn it. What did I just do? Okay. Oh. Somehow I ruined the calibration of the tablet. Selection. Oh man, I lost my rhythm on that entirely. Close enough. Alright, I think I want to do the crown in a little less organic line. So let's bust out the curve tool. That's not it. I like the continuous curve tool. It's a little more like an intuitive version of the pen tool from Photoshop, although it's not as powerful, so there is that. You do what you can. So this is not going to match my brush size, I think. What do we got here? 1.7. Goodness. Big lines. Let's do 1.1 and see how that gets us. So if I know points along my arc that are definitely on the arc, I can just grab those and plot them. Hit enter when I'm satisfied. And it still kind of looks like a hand-drawn arc, because it still kind of is. It's not perfect. refine that a little. Probably should have put up a symmetry ruler to do this on symmetry to do this on both sides, but I guess that's the benefit of being in the present. God, I don't like that at all. Alright. Let's just get in there with the curve and try to finish out the other side of the crown in a manner similar. Really long dip. Alright, so the crown needs some cleanup. Those lines are all kinds of a mess, but that won't be too much work. How are we looking? Bored, wealthy, and fed up with your shit. Let's make a selection for this too. Okay, just saying hi to some people in other chat channels. Giving my hand a little bit of a rest. Let's get this hand taken care of. Why am I not drawing? Oh, because I'm... That's right. I walked away after making a selection for the hair. Let's do that instead. Okay. So I just want to get the non-hair portion of the selection out of there. And may as well add in all the other hairy spots. I want to get in there and fix that. Alright, that'll do. Another nice advantage to digital is being able to mask on the fly and select areas out. I had the hardest time with watercolor. Let me tell you, that paint just does not behave. If I could have made a selection on the watercolor paper. I know you can do that. There's all kinds of ways to do that, but still. Oops. That's not quite the way it should be. Let's get that darkened. Yeah, you know what? Damn. The other half of that hair mass is going the wrong direction. We want to go towards the center of the head. Too much? Too much. What do you want? I don't have time for you right now. Oh, okay, maybe a little time. Come here, you. Ow, ow. Whoops. Hmm. Oh, such pitiful meows. Have you ever heard such pitiful meows? Oh, what a sad cat. What? Don't claw my sleeve. Oh. I love how mentioning that my cat was meowing got me one viewer for 1 second. That's hilarious. I hate drawing hands. What do? I invent a necklace made of hands to draw. Clasping hands are the worst, too. Oh man, those lines are gonna need work. Oh. pointy fingers with that about. Oh, that's a shapely thumb. That turned out nice. Eek. Suddenly my lines are all thick. Oh, because I'm at the bottom of the canvas. Let's move this up a little bit. Rotate things a little bit too. Meow. Thank you for your contribution, Morbus. So I'm not entirely certain that these shoulders are lining up right. Probably should have confirmed that back when I was dithering with the original drawing. Think that? No. So the armpit is one right here. Maybe. Shoulder. Armpit. So maybe that is right. Just needs to disappear there. The center of the chest is off. And the necklace should be going out to here. Fudge. Maybe not. Let's move that around a little bit and see what we get. Okay, back into the ink. Let's see here. Ick. Ick. It's not gonna work at all. Wait a minute. Poor guy. Oh wait, that's another thumb. Oh, those hands are gonna need some work. Let's move on to something else for a little bit. Oops. Oh, it's getting messy. That doesn't look right either. What are you doing? Tango. Yeah, right. He's eaten plenty. Well, obviously the cat got bored of me not paying attention to it and left. I'm very sorry you missed the show. Oh, well, speaking the devil appears. Where are you? Say hello to the nice people. Camera's over there. Gosh, you're horrible. Not photogenic at all. What's your problem, huh? You know. Never let it be said I don't give the people what they want. Oh, I just draw a big line in the middle of my face there. So where does the quilting go on the other side? I guess it won't be visible there, but there's a... So let's get that one there. And that line there. Alright. So there's lots of places to clean up on the small scale, but on the whole, I think we have all of the image covered. We've fixed most of the anatomy and perspective mistakes. Such a dashing fellow. Gosh, that crown though needs work. Ugh. Oh. Alright, well, let's get in close and fix some lines, shall we? This is the most exciting part. For those of you who are watching intently. if I was working for a comic book publisher as an entry-level artist, this is the kind of thing I would end up be doing, is I'd be going in and refining somebody else's sloppy work because they're overbooked on 12 different projects. Because it's a machine. If I sound better, it's not that I am. I've never even applied to work for Marvel or DC or any of that stuff. I prefer working for myself. But I'm aware of the realities of the industry. Let me tell you, it's not pretty. I am creating. This is the next in line of the Bombastus clan. I've decided that Barnabas has lived for almost a year now as I've been building up Zilphania, so it's time to retire him because that's how long characters live. So this is going to be the next guy in line. Oops. Yeah, well, expect there to be a fair amount of pomp and circumstance when Duke Barnabas kicks off his mortal coil, so to speak. I should probably make it some kind of dramatic storyline, too. Have to consult with my Minister of Culture. See what she thinks is the best course for the changing of the guard. That's a good goal. Immortality comes in lots of flavors. I think, strictly speaking, all of the players are more or less living forever. There's lots of people who are like, oh, I want to be a lich or a vampire or some kind of immortal being so that I never die. I think that's kind of missing the point. If you never die, you never get to see what your next incarnation is. Kind of stuck in the past. Because eventually, I imagine, I think they mentioned that there's only so many skills you can learn in a life, right? Like eventually you just run out of the ability to add more skill to whatever it is you're doing. I mean, if you're living forever, then that's kind of it. Hmm. Well, we'll have to see then. And for your humbleness, Nightshade, you will be granted one of the first most powerful powers, I'm sure. Yeah, see, there you go. Grow your skills naturally. Path to the dark side is quick and easy. Botting isn't encouraged, it's part of the core gameplay. I mean, that's going to be the real, how they limit what you're capable of doing. I mean, they've already mentioned that you're only going to progress in really basic skills if you're only, only letting your OPC do things. But I'm waiting for people to creatively flex that engine in other ways and manipulating rumors and NPCs, uh, or even messing with scripts by trying to figure out what a OPC is scripted to do so that you can take advantage of holes in their programming. All that kind of fun stuff. That's going to be a lot of fun. Make friends with your programmers now. I probably should have done this all in vector layer. Then I could just thin and thick the lines individually. There's a problem getting the vector points to connect properly. And then when I resize things, at least in Clip Studio, in Illustrator, obviously, it's a lot easier, but Clip Studio's vector implementation is weird. It is nice that you can use all the same tools and draw lines that are vectors and still have shapes. And there's a lot of ways to modify them, but yeah, I'm not sure they have their AI to a point where they're ready to answer how it works, uh, and how scripting is going to relate with it. But AI is Caspian's specialty, so let's look a lot better. A little shaky though in places. I'm totally down with fighting against an AI designed to murder us all. You know, drawing is all about skill and repetition. It's like 90% muscle memory, and that's like I was doing. Let's see here. Let me. Where's my weird circle I was drawing earlier? I was doing some warm ups. There's a great subreddit, Art Fundamentals subreddit, where you basically you're training your muscles to understand the way that they need to move in order to produce the lines that you're thinking of. And that's all. I've been doing this for 30 years, so I've been, my hand is very used to translating what I'm thinking of. But if you build up on your fundamentals and everything is reduced to just basic shapes. If you look at my blue line, you can see where I was, getting at the rectangles and the different relations of the face. I mean, none of this, and I don't even have the original sketches, So it's not necessarily all about talent. Obviously, my talent gave me a propensity to practice more often um, than I might have at that thing because I immediately recognized that I was good at it, and that encouraged me to continue. But that's really all it is. Is just I've been doing it for forever. If we look back through the years of my drawings, we can actually see there's a lot of stuff that isn't that great, but I was learning. So like compare something like this. I don't even know what I was thinking there. To a more recent drawing. Well, like Lucrezia, for example. I was paying a lot more attention to line. I'm working a lot harder at rendering, and this is just a loose mess. So I mean, it just all depends on how hard you work at it. I do want to look here. I think I have. Oh yeah. So this is once I put it in file format. I opened this today. I created this file today. What are you talking about? There is something seriously wrong with my installation of Clip Studio. It doesn't recognize files that it created earlier. And that's a problem. Alright, well, whatever. Yeah, and being able to draw what you're thinking of starts with being able to draw what you're looking at. I mean, I did this from a reference photo, um, and there's techniques for measuring what you're looking at with your eye, and comparing it to other objects in the frame. Doing still life drawing is a huge asset
to drawing realistic things. The more you work with what you see, the more your hand will get used to drawing shapes as they really are, rather than as you kind of conceive of them. Because when you think of something in your brain, it's constantly shifting and revising and moving in shape as you draw it, and this will become evident in your drawing as well. I mean, if you scroll back earlier in the video, you can see where I was futzing with the facial features, trying to stretch and move them around because I wasn't happy where they ended up, even though I measured carefully and I thought that I had a face that worked in the context of the drawing. The more that mold and shape something, the more it shifts away from certain your desired shape and into something else. And so if you're not constantly looking at the whole drawing, then your drawing will start to reflect that lack of cohesion. There's a lot to it. And you learn a lot just by making all of those mistakes and trying over and over again. And there's actually hands are a pain in the ass. Oh, you mean the hands in the necklace? Oh yeah, that's the chain of office. Let me see if I can find a picture of Barnabas here. The Zilphanian chain of office is a series of interlinked hands symbolizing the cooperation required in order to make a nation work. And the compass is symbolizing the nobility's responsibility to guide the people as they cooperate towards the future. I guess it is kind of disturbing. I didn't think of it as little creepy baby hands. They're gold. Golden hands. Probably something that will not appear in the game, but it's fun. At this point, I can draw whatever I like. Yeah, so this is drawn from a reference photo I took of myself, and then Barnabas. I just actually invented that face. I just I didn't really have a plan when I started it. The character originally existed in Dungeons and Dragons, and then I also created it in Elder Scrolls Online. So he's always been bald with a curly mustache and a strong chin, but his face changes every time I draw it. Oh, this was an early emoji design that I tried. Um, we can talk offline about commissioning special projects just for you. Okay, but no matter what the body looks like, I have to put Duchess Illyrine's actual face on there. All right. Well, my technical problems mean I'm gonna have to actually do a entirely fresh install of my art program. So I'm gonna shut down my stream for a little bit. I'll be back a little later, and I'll be drawing my funny animal cartoon comic strip and trying to get some more pages of that done. So if you guys are interested in watching a little bit later, I'll make an announcement. Thanks for coming out and chatting with me.